What's up, everybody? You're listening to another episode of the SignatureCAST, where we talk bodybuilding, business, and everything in between. To my right, returning guest, new life update. Manj Singh is back on the SignatureCAST. We got some exciting, inspirational, and motivational stuff coming your way, so stay tuned for this amazing episode. Manj, how are you?
I can't complain. I tell you, the last time we left off, I said you got halves in life. Living my second life half.
Ooh, that's it.
Second half of life.
So, am I going to just break the news to the people at home?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Drum roll, please. Introducing the new head coach of Glen Ridge High School football, Manj Singh. All right. Congratulations. I can tell by the smile on your face, this was a long time coming, trials and tribulations, but you have officially stepped up in the football game.
Yes. I had to take a pause there. I wanted to say yes, but, it still hasn't hit me. It hasn't hit me yet. It's still like going through the process. I mean, yeah, I'm no longer at St. Joe's where I was. I look at everything from the past of where I came from and where I'm at now. It still hasn't hit me yet. It's just one of those feelings. Like, I guess maybe till kickoff, first game, I guess that's what's going to hit me, I guess, maybe. Or maybe one day I'll be on my own just sitting there.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, they're in like an off season right now, right?
Oh, right now we started OTAs.
Okay.
So right now we're getting a little practice in, getting things together. This is the first time that they have in over 12 years. So there's a lot of kids, players that are missing, that are on vacations because they're not used to starting until August 10th. August 10th is the official start of the season.
Okay.
But right now we're getting things together and we're doing what we can with the numbers we got.
Fantastic. I love it. I mean, as we've talked about in the previous podcast and others, it's all about preparation, those little steps you take every single day, every single workout, and you're going to be a successful team this season, right? Yeah,
well, I came by here before because we had the workout problem was a problem. Our weight room isn't the most efficient weight room. It's it's in a work in progress right now. But it's like Mickey's gym in there. So we do what we got and do the best we can with what we have. And players are going out to other gyms and doing other locations. I got hired late. If I was hired earlier, I would have definitely had them here doing all the work here like we were trying to do. And I put you guys against the gun where it wasn't right, So,
no, it's all good.
But you know what? As far as if nothing happens next year, if we don't get that weight room together, we will try to find a place to come work out as a team.
Definitely.
And
fantastic.
This will be the place. I
mean, that's what's so important is the athletic development, as we've mentioned prior, from the youngest of ages up until, as old as you want to be, being physically active. It really is one of the most important things for a long, healthy, and productive life. And especially with kids, football, teamwork, all that type of stuff. But I really want to deep dive into some of the conversations that we had, because now we've been friends now for, 2 years now, I guess, almost?
Maybe a little more.
Something like that, right? Yeah. And, we've had a lot of podcasts, some that were lost. It's okay. We'll take a moment.
I thought you weren't going to bring that up, but okay.
I wasn't, but you know what? It had to be put in there. But that's okay.
Yeah.
But the last one was, I think it's one of our top 2 most watched podcasts.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure this one will be right up there. So we've had a lot of discussions about life and how you're trying to, move up this ladder, not just financially, but with your family and in the football realm and all this type of stuff. So what was the process like? Were you interviewing at other schools? Was Glen Ridge the first place you had in your mind, or was this just kind of a byproduct of all the years of hard work?
Oh, man. So this has been going on in my brain for like 18 months without even thinking about ever being a head coach. The first step was being at the company I was with for 20 years. I was just like after like the last 18 months thinking about like I'm not happy. I knew I had to move forward in life. Of course, I'm a realtor as well, and I had to figure that part of life out of if you're going to go all in, you're going to go all in. Are you able financially to leave this company? Because what I was doing was to be a football coach, especially a high school football coach, I was going to work at midnight till 8 o'clock in the morning, sometimes till 1 o'clock to be at practice by 2:30, to get home about maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock, to get a quick bite with the family, sleep, back to work. Did that for 8 years. Oof. So the love of the game, it pushed me in my family just, behind me with that, which was great, but it took a toll on me. And I had to, for after last season, I was like, I got to figure out what I'm going to do. Am I going to be full-time at St. Joe's as that? And then how life is going to be. And then all of a sudden, there was a job that came up. Somebody told me, like, hey, there's a job up. Are you interested? I said, where is it at? They said, my hometown of Montclair. So I went and put in for the job at Montclair, and that was like a dream. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this can't be happening. And that was a grueling process. It was a real grueling process because not having head coach experience, but having a lot of experience up at the Big North and being there for so long, and having the background of being with coaches like Augie Hoffman, Coach Morangi, around Coach Toll's staff and everything. I got a lot. I learned a lot, knew a lot, but a lot of people didn't trust the process of what I was doing, especially at Montclair. So Montclair came down to the wire. But how I got that interview, the first they just wanted to interview head coaches only. So I decided to say, hey, you know what? I know I'm good enough to be a head coach. I know I believe in myself. I know what I need to do. So I made a whole portfolio, a 55 pages portfolio, real thick binder from FedEx, everything looking beautiful. I pushed it upon the superintendent, I pushed it upon the AD, and pushed it upon the principal. And it was day 2 of the interviews and the last day of the first round of interviews. And I had given it at 8 o'clock in the morning, given it to them. And at 12 o'clock, I was here working out. I got the phone call at 12:30. Do you want to interview today at 6 p.m.? So even though I was told no because you're not a head coach experience, I didn't take no and be like, okay, it's fine to pack my ball and go. I said, no, I got to go in there. They got to hear me. They got to see me. And the interview was supposed to be 15, 20 minutes each person, and I was in there for about an hour and 15 minutes. I literally blew the doors off to got me to round 2. X's and O's. Went on that board, blew the doors off again. Then the final round came, and it came down to, meeting with the superintendent, and they chose a guy with more experience. And
understandable.
And I was fine with that. It was like I was proud that as far as I went. I drove myself. I pushed myself. Of course, with the family background, I said, I got to do this. This is what I want. I'm going to do it. And I could have just said, okay, no head coach experience and left it alone. But that's what I tell people in life. Like, I tell people, don't just take no and just say, okay, I'm going to tuck it in. Push. Go. Because when I got in that room and I lit that room on fire for an hour, like legitimately that interview should have been 15, 20 minutes. I was in there for an hour, 15, hour 20. And there were a lot of tears in that room. I put people into it because I'm born and raised there, so the passion and the pride of being from Montclair. So, yes, there was disappointment that I didn't get the job, but at the same time, my wife, when I got home, she was like, listen, there's a job posting at Glen Ridge. I was like, really? That's right down the street. That's right there. I said, oh, that'd be interesting. And I said, well, I don't know if I want to go through that grueling process again because it takes it out of you.
It's mentally draining, I'm sure.
Oh, it really, it's very mentally draining. But the thing was, I was prepared for those grueling interviews. Like I said, the prior job I was at for 20 years, I interviewed for a supervisor spot 12 times with 20 years experience and still didn't get it. So I knew that there's favoritism, there's this, there's that.
Of course.
And I could take the rejection. So my skin was already thick. But if I didn't go through failures and losses and losing and hearing no, you're not the guy, and this is why and that's why, I think I would have crumbled, crushed, and never been where I'm at now. So when it came to the Glen Ridge, I have family that lives in Glen Ridge that work in the school system. I have family that lives in Glen Ridge. And I was just like, always like, nah, there's no way. Come on. Like, I'm going to put it for Glen Ridge. They're not going to look at me. And that's the closed-minded side of me. They're not going to look at me, and there was a lot of reasons why I was thinking I don't have the head coach experience. Here we go with that again, even though it's a small school. Do they want, my type of coaching style down there coming from where I was at? It might be too much for a small school. So I went in there and just gave them everything I had. There were supposed to be 2 interviews, and there was only 1. I went in there dressed up, and I had a John Varvatos suit on and everything like that. I squeezed myself into there. Don't know how, but I got into it. And that interview process with Rob Hill, who's my AD, who gave me the hire, gave me the head nod, was awesome. It was like talking with a normal person. It wasn't like Montclair where you had 15 people interviewing me. This was only 2 people in there. It was 2 people, Rob Hill and another gentleman in there, Dave Manzo. They were both in there to interview me, and it was very simple. And I had backing already. People already wrote letters in, supported me that live in Glen Ridge, part of the town, supported me. And I think that's what it was. Like, the support system from family and support system from Glen Ridge was unreal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, what a turn. You know, because when we were talking, it's like, but I grew up in Montclair.
Yes.
You know, it's kid doing good. He's he grew up. He's got a family. Oh, I think it's going to be amazing. But look at you now in that freaking Glen Ridge shirt right now.
Yeah.
This guy's looking official right now.
But here's the crazy thing: when I put my 2 weeks in for leaving PSG, I think it said the company. I wasn't going to say it, but whatever.
It's okay. You're past that.
Yeah, I'm past that part of my life. So when I put my 2 weeks in, I didn't have the job yet. I was heading up to St. Joe's, and that's where I was going to be at St. Joe's. I was there, and I already put my 2 weeks in. I already knew what I wanted to do in life. I knew that real estate and coaching; those are the two things I want to do to make me happy. But also, I knew my family would be okay. We're good. We're not going to put strain on the family. But it was just the turns of life. And during those 2 weeks period, I ended up listing 2 houses, having another buyer on another one, and then that Wednesday before I left PSG, I got the phone call that you're hired as the head coach of Glen Ridge. I said the higher power worked his own way and said, hey, you know what? Sometimes you got to take the risk and risk reward. That's what they call it, I guess. Risk reward. How
did St. Joe's feel? Well, I'm hoping they were supportive, or
so that was the toughest thing because
you were you had a strong not just work but emotional bond with that team and everything.
Well, it got even more emotional. Mother's Day weekend, to get the phone call that one of my players who's heading off to college, this summer, died in a car accident.
Oh.
Young man was on Route 17, and he was one of my defensive linemen. Died on the accident. So when we went up to the funeral and everything, players, coaches, athletic director, my head coach, Coach Morangi, Sharon Kuza called me up. They all, everybody called me and see if I was okay. Even my players were calling me to see if I was okay because I have a bond with my players. I built a bond with this young man. And when I was able to speak in front of the school during his celebration of life, I went up there. It's been 3 minutes. They told me I went for probably 10, and I just felt the love and just loved everything about St. Joe's and the feeling, and it's a great place. And so I was torn apart. And reason I'm gonna tell you the truth, how I got this Glen Ridge job, the athletic director actually called Coach Morangi at 7:00 p.m. on that Wednesday and asked him all about me. Then at 7:15. He calls me, hires me. 7:25, I call Morangi, and Coach Morangi goes, don't tell me he just hired you. I said, yeah. He goes, oh, my God. He goes, I just told him everything about you, and I hung up the phone and said, I think he's going to hire this guy. And, he put the trust in me, and I trust him. And still to this day, like if I go through a mental breakdown or go through a breakdown as a head coach and want to know things, I can call him.
Yeah.
Support system.
That's fantastic.
And I always said, I heard this from Mike Tyson. He said it the best. He said that the difference between him and Leon Spinks was support system. Even Leon was a good boxer, but Mike Tyson had all the guys behind him, a custom model and stuff like that. So it's your support system. I believe that in life, your support system's everything.
I'm glad to hear that. And quick question: are Glen Ridge and St. Joe's in the same?
Never.
Okay, good. Good.
No way.
I was like, what a battle that would have been.
No. Listen. No. It's like if you look at like UFC or any type of combat sport weight classes, that's the heavyweight.
Okay.
We're not heavyweight. We're a featherweight. We're in lightweight. We are not up in that heavyweight division.
Yeah, I know that is something, and that just goes to show you, everyone talks about, down south how impressive the football teams are and all that type of stuff, but. The Northeast, there's a lot of great teams up here.
Oh yeah,
there is a very tight knit, development community around football and youth sports.
Yes.
So it's really cool. I love to see it, and it's as I just said earlier, developing, men, women, all these kids through athletics is huge.
Yeah,
you see even on the report cards and all that type of stuff. Usually the people who are doing the best, whether in terms of the class and where they rank, it's all the kids who are, on the track team, playing team sports, football, all that type of stuff, plus all the kids that do music and everything like that.
Oh,
if
yeah.
they're involved in that kind of, community, makes a big difference. So what made you different though? There were obviously other people interviewing. I know you obviously had the phone call from your previous head coach, but
right.
What do you think made you stand out, to the other people who maybe had already been a head coach and were on paper more qualified?
I have a story.
Okay.
I mean, legitimately, like my life growing up is one thing that I looked at and said, I basically, I'm pushed by life. I'm pushed by different types of energy. I'm pushed by learning the X's and O's and knowing X's and O's. That's, I mean, you could put anybody in front of something and say, hey, I know how to do this. I could draw this out, right? But then you put them in the heat of the battle. They might not know how to perform. They need that film. They need that X and O. They need time. They need to break it down that way. They might be the smartest person. I live life on instincts. I'm basically untamed. I was once tamed. I put myself as like a lion. You put a lion in the zoo, right? He knows he's gonna get fed, or she. He knows that it's gonna eat. It's gonna get water. It's in a good environment. Don't have to worry about other people coming after. You put that lion in the wild. You're fending for yourself. You got to figure it out. You got to get it done. I always took that approach in football from the time I was in Little League and developing players, developing from the youth program. That's one of the best things like I love about being here at Glen Ridge. There's a youth program, the Red Dogs. I got a camp coming up July 18th to July 21st.
Oh, great.
It's a camp going on, and this is me bringing my face around these young men. And I want to make sure we build them from young and build them. So you start there. You become you get an emotional bond with them. You get to know them. They get to know who you are. My players get homework assignments, and the homework assignments, like one of them is, who is your hero? My varsity team. So they tell me who their hero is. They write it down, and then I want to know. Talk to me one time about adversity that you had to overcome. What hill are you currently trying to climb, and what are your long-term goals? I want to know the players that way. So if you go to the youth and you build, so those are the thing. I think that separates me from a lot of coaches. That one, I'm calm right now, but if I get in there, I'm fiery. I'm fiery every moment. Like I think that maybe I should cut back on the coffee or whatever. But when I get out there, it's just like I don't want to let nobody down. As I told you before, Dad means coach to me. I never got to say the word, so I don't want to let any of my players walk away from me and be mad at me or angry at me without giving me reason why and how come, because maybe I can learn from them. My ears are always open. I'm learning from people all the time. I'm willing to adjust to anything. It's not like I'm head coach and I'm just going to put my feet up and that's it. I got the title. I don't care about the title. All the coaches I have on my staff, I decided, I said, yeah, you know what? I don't really care about my title. I just want to make sure we work together. Yes, I get the last call on it, but let's just do it collectively and get it done. This is the way I learned from, like I said, I learned from the greatest coaches I think I've learned through my whole time from youth all the way up to now, and played underneath some of the great coaches. And I think I just took that and said, I took the bads and goods and said, this is what I'm going to do with it. But I think what took me from everybody else at, even with Montclair, I was in the final three out of, I think it was maybe 15 or 20 people. Glen Ridge, I don't know how many they interviewed, but I ended up being the finalist, and I come with something different. I just believe like this is different. Well, I'm open to any ideas. I'm open to change. I'm open to adjusting on the fly. I'm sure it's like you. If you come into this gym right now, you went to work out and you wanted to do squats, and all the squat racks are taken up, you'll find somewhere else to do some type of workout to implicate that squat workout until that lets up. It's adjusting.
Flexibility,
yes.
Flexibility, huge, especially in a leadership role. We deal with that here all the time. Thankfully I've been able to, become a manager here, and, you deal with all, especially at a gym, you deal with new situations every single day.
Oh yeah.
Things that you would have never experienced before, things that you would think would be, questions that people would be able to answer themselves or whatever it may be. And God bless everybody, but yeah, flexibility. You can get some curveballs and you gotta deal with them. But I love to hear that. You're there. You're not just a coach who's Xing and Oing on a board and we're going to run this play, that play, but you're really there to inspire these kids, right? Because we talk about motivation versus inspiration, right? And that's a very important topic because everyone thinks that someone can motivate them, but there's no such thing. You can only be inspired to motivate yourself. Motivation comes from within.
Yep.
And whether it's, these kids on the field, the first, second, third, fourth quarter, whatever it is, you have to be able to touch that person and, mentally, verbally, whatever it is, give them a cue that's going to turn them on like a light switch, And I know we do have a question from the owner of Signature Fitness, Warren Feldman. He wants to know what the difference is, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, that pushes these kids, especially like we're talking about kids,
right?
I'm assuming you're a young, 32-year-old, right?
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah. And
well, you see, today I no shape up.
No,
because I said if I'm going to be out here with the kids and get grungy, you're going to get grungy. So no shape up, none of that.
So we got a young man in his 30s, old man in his 20s. But even now I still consider myself a kid. But these men, they're 14 through 17, around that age, right?
Some are 18.
Some are 18. Like they are still kids.
Oh yeah.
And to get a kid to push himself in that fourth quarter, what do you think it takes?
Well, it's preparation. The one thing that I know is that, first thing that can kill anybody, and you can see it on the treadmill, you can see it in the gym, you can see it. If you're out of shape and you're tired, you're defeated. You can't go forward. So the first thing is we got to get conditioned. We got to make sure we're there all the way. We got to make sure that we're all in when it comes to getting conditioned. Second thing is you got to make sure that the family believes into you too. Their family, whatever background they come from, that they believe in the process, they trust the process, those long practices, the meetings, getting prepared for literally you're getting prepared for for about 30 snaps, 40 snaps on each side of the ball. So it's about 80 snaps total. That's what you're getting prepared for a whole week. But right now we're going through a whole summer. So preparing them for that. Adversity is going to come and hit them, and I want to make sure they're prepared. So during practice, we put pressure at practice. You put pressure on them. You want to see how much they know the plays, how much they can adjust on the fly, put different defensive looks out there, different offensive looks to the defense. You got to make sure they're having fun during the process. It's not just, like I said, putting it on the board. You want to make sure that they're learning, they're adjusting, where we're doing everything. So now it's the back of their mind. Now when it comes to that fourth quarter, they're in shape. They're physically ready to go. They're mentally ready to go. They can adjust to anything. And now that's where you come in. If you watch any good movie, the ending is everything. Mm-hmm. The beginning could be boring, the middle could be dead, and it's how you finish that thing, and what do? I'm gonna put this one at you. Treat life like a loaf of bread, and everything like a loaf of bread. You ready?
I love bread.
I know, but you ready for this? This is the craziest part.
Okay, treat life like a loaf of bread.
Like a loaf of bread. That first piece you open up, right? You skip it. You go through all the ones that look the same. You get to that last piece, and you're really hungry. You're gonna take that first piece with that last piece, the first and last, and you're gonna finish and get the sandwich. And you know what? That people don't realize that's a roll, because it's two end pieces, like a roll. It's everything. So if you look at them, the middle doesn't matter. Nobody cares about the middle. They're enjoying it, but they're not really thinking about it. It's that first and the last. The first is the worst. To start something is hard. To finish something, it can also be hard, but it could be satisfying, because if you're hungry, you finish that loaf. There we go. I dropped another gem.
Walk out.
I dropped another gem.
That was a mic drop and a half right there.
Off the top of the head. I don't know where the hell I came with that one.
Loaf of bread. I'm going to use that one.
I don't even know where I came up with that.
Loaf of bread.
I've never heard that in my life.
Guys, you're going to look at that loaf of bread differently now.
I never heard that.
The next time I eat a sliced bread, I'm going to go, you know what? I'm just going to screw this stuff in the middle. I'm making a sandwich.
I'm telling you, because you skip over things, and that's the thing with detail, with practice and with everything. You can't skip and you get to the next thing. So if we don't know this one little spot, we're not going to move on. Mm-hmm. We can't go forward if not everybody's on the same board. So I believe one heartbeat, one breath. It's the same breath. It's the same heartbeat.
I love that, because fortunately and unfortunately, as we've talked before, I've done a lot of individualized sports. I'm into bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman, now arm wrestling now, and all these things. And I love it. I think there's very high value in knowing that it's just you.
Yeah.
But, and that's a big but, the team and being able to rely on the people, whether it's in business, whether it's on the football field, whether it's in your community, your household, your church, whatever it is, right? Knowing that you have that support system.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I remember when I was a kid, I did play lacrosse for 2 seasons. I want to say 2 seasons. And I just remember, I was never I should have been a lineman is really what I should have done.
You should have been a D-tackle.
But I never had the endurance, but I was always like quick spurts of energy, right? And we used to have to run from the high school all the way like across town to the oval in practice. And like the team would just, and I'd be just there on the back, like dying, like running. I'd show up to practice a half hour late. And unfortunately, the one thing that happened, which is I think what left the worst taste in my mouth thinking back about it, was that not one player came back to grab me and say, come on, let's do this. And when I showed up, the coach, instead of being like, I'm going to run with you tomorrow, or we're going to have somebody run with you. He was just like, you need to get in better shape. This is unacceptable. Now, look, tough love. I totally understand. I was a little chunker at the time. But imagine the development, mental, physically, emotionally, that they could have had on me or any child like me if they had just been like, hey, Mark, go run back and run with Will, all right? Like hand him out. And I know that's how you coach, and that's why that's why I'm highlighting you, is because you can, that little bit of just, hey, come on, let's go. Come on, we got this.
No man left behind.
No man left behind.
That, you just triggered me, because that is one thing I can't stand. Like, there's been many players that just can't do it, or they think they can't do it, and I got to run with them or make the team run with them, or we do it together. We build them. We spend time before practice, after practice. There might be something emotional going on in their life. There might be something personal going on in their life. It might be that they're just not with it today. They might, that one day that you just tell that player or that person, just forget about it, get out of here, you're not needed, or just don't show that love and respect. See, the thing is, man, I'm everywhere with it, because it triggered me, because you got to coach with love. You got to do everything with love. You know, do I love coming in the gym every day to work out and try to keep – no, I don't love it. But you want to know something? When I'm done, I feel great.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then I have days I'm in here, I'm ready to go. Everybody has good days, bad days. And it's just like, you know, the parents put their kids in the position with me. They trust me. They believe in me. That's their prized possession, is their child. My goal is to make sure I do my best and do everything it takes so when they leave, they're happy, but they might not be happy every day. They might be disappointed, but that's when we have those conversations and why practice was harder. Why did we run those extra laps? And I'll never say it's because of he didn't finish the drill, or never. We didn't finish the drill. It's a we thing, especially with sports, team sports. It's a we. Even with individual sports, because you have a coach, obviously. There's a strength coach, right? Mm-hmm. There's a strength coach. So it's a team. No matter what you're doing, even the boxer goes in the ring by himself, but still, every round he comes to the corner, it's a team. The team has to tell him where he's going wrong, what he needs to do, this, that, and the other, and fix it, make the adjustments. So in coaching, you can't have one style. I'm like, this is who I am, that's it, boom. No, you got to adjust. Me coming to Glen Ridge, big adjustment. Culture, everything, you name it. I had to adjust with so much. But even though I'm from the area, I live in Montclair, and I lived in Montclair, born and raised. Bloomfield is right here. Glen Ridge is always in the middle. I didn't know much about Glen Ridge, so I'm getting to know now. I'm learning that these players on my team, they're some tough kids. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're tough. They want to learn. They want to get good. The parents are supporting me. They're all behind me. Not what I would have thought. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's being, you know, that's just me thinking, because where I was at was just, you know, you molded players, you brought players in, you did what you had to do, you pushed them, and it was just great, you know, and you knew you had athletes that could do it. Here, I got to build again, like I was in the youth level, build trust, build accountability. Accountability is one of the main things. We all got to be accountable. If you don't show up to practice, you're never going to get good. You don't show up to work, you're never going to be good. If I show up late to practice, that's not good.
Yeah, because they're going to be like, why? If the coach isn't there, the first one there and the last one to leave, why am I going to be?
Right.
Wow.
Right.
It's so true.
Yeah,
it's so true. And you know, we see it because, like I said, we're bodybuilding, business, and everything in between here on the SignatureCAST. Whether it's bodybuilding, business, or things in between here like football, building that pyramid, building that team. You know, we're going through so many changes, as you've seen here. We're redoing our track. We have this new gym that's the strength and conditioning center that's been open for almost a year. We're implementing new rules. We're trying new styles of things, and we're going green. We're doing all these big initiatives.
Oh yeah.
But at the core of all of it is me, the other managers, all sitting down as a team and saying, how are we going to make this decision, this change work? How are we going to implement it? And I'll be honest with you, we've had problems with, pointing of the fingers and this and that, whatever. But that's why what I try to do is I start every single one of our meetings with an inspirational team quote, no matter what it is, and I've been through every single one. I'm starting to repeat them all.
It's okay,
but
though. It beats you in the head.
It is so important because if you can know that, I can rely on this person next to me and, let's pull it back to football. If I'm the quarterback and I can, trust in my line to protect me, it's like all the weight's off your shoulders. Now you can just focus on making that pass, doing that run, whatever you have to do. Yeah. But if you're like second guessing, like, oh, I don't know if Will's going to block, that guy's pretty big in front, like, you're going to be very hesitant, right?
Well, yeah, you know what? If I'm that guy's bigger and tougher or whatever, I guess the only way you're gonna get through it is face your challenge.
Yeah.
Face your challenge. Go through it. Do it. Do your best you can. That's all I ask. Effort is what you judge it. I can't judge nobody on the effort. They can only judge their own effort and say if I gave it my all or not. You know, and then I leave that in the air for them to decide. You know, that's in life in general. My own family, your effort. You know, whatever you put in is what you're gonna get.
I remember Eric Thomas, the motivational speaker, talked about the great quarterbacks of our time. They step into the pocket and they step into their pressure. Mm-hmm. They step into their trust and their belief and their team and into that system.
Yeah.
Versus, the worst guys are the ones that are scrambling, walking back. Like, you remember Roethlisberger was known for that. He would never back down.
Right.
He would just step right forward. He'd take a hit. He'd push somebody over, whatever it was. These are the best quarterbacks. Brady. Yeah. It's a perfect example. The GOAT, right?
Still there.
He will always push forward. I mean, yeah, of course, everybody runs around a little bit, but he pushes forward.
Right.
And such a huge difference.
It's with this team I have here, like we were in an Ivy League, a smaller league last year, which was not competitive. You didn't play for nothing.
Okay.
So now they moved back to the Group 1 where they're actually playing for a championship. They're playing for something. And as I said, I told the players, watch the movie 300.
Good movie.
Probably one of the best because you're going against a bigger teams. You're going against bigger numbers. We don't have the numbers, maybe. We don't have everything. But that's why I'm going to be part of the community. I am part of the community. Once I was named head coach, I walk to my practices sometimes. I walk through Ridgewood Avenue in Glen Ridge and walk all the way from home there. I enjoy it. I enjoy being around the community. I'm going to be a face in the community as a head coach. I'm not going to run around and just dart home because whatever. No, I'm going to do my job. I got hired to be part of this, but it's not just for football. If there's kids that want to leave the program to go to other schools and do whatever, I want to know why and how come, because Glen Ridge is #1 public school education. So my players, 3.7 GPA across the board and higher. The lowest is 3.7. We installed so many plays. You know how quick they know? Like that. And I'm like, wow.
That's good.
Installing it like that.
Team with a high IQ is going to go far.
Yeah. Yesterday, we didn't go over any defense all year. Yesterday, we decided to go on 7-on-7s. I showed them cover 1, 2, 3, and 4. A couple zone drops and everything. These kids learned that in 5 minutes. Before you know it, they were doing everything right, where our quarterback was having a little bit of troubles against his own teammates, which is good because they're going to make him better, and we're going to build. So
You're enjoying this, aren't you? Oh, man, I can tell.
I'm loving it unfold.
Oh, I love it.
I'm loving it unfold. So, back to what makes me different is just that I feel like a kid on the field.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm one of them. But they know once I put the sunglasses on, they saw it already rained. I had sunglasses on.
I was just about to ask. And this whole time, I'm like, have you busted out the sunglasses yet?
It was raining. I had sunglasses on. It was sunny, had them on. It was cloudy, I had them on. The sun went down, I still had them on. They were inside working out, I had them on. But they saw me when I took them off of me being a kid and enjoying being around them.
Yeah.
Of course, being respectful and everything like that, but just telling, hey, how you doing? How's everything? And then when they see the business on, let's go to work.
Oh, I love it. It's like Sylvester Stallone and Over the Top, where I don't know if you ever saw that movie. When his arm takes the half of his sunglasses on. Game time.
Game time.
I love it.
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely.
let's pull it back to the team. Glen Ridge, right? What's the mascot for the team?
Really?
I don't know.
Okay, it's a zebra.
Hey, zebras are pretty intense animals. Also, they're like the most unique looking. So we'll leave it at that. So Glen Ridge zebras.
No, that's the mascot. They're the Ridgers, but that's the mascot. But we are GR.
GR.
We are GR.
So let's go back to GR. GR it is. 2022 season.
Yes.
What are the challenges you think you're going to be facing with this team?
Adversity.
I want brutal honesty here.
Adversity.
In what way?
Basically, challenging each player as an individual first before a team player, challenging them as a team, challenging them as individuals, challenging them to all be leaders. The goal is to take that freshman, because we don't have a freshman program.
Oh, okay.
We go straight to JV and varsity, but to have those freshmen getting involved in varsity games. If I got a team of 35 players, I want 35 to play on Saturday, Friday or Saturday. If we got 40, same thing. Got 50, same thing. I want everybody to be involved, hands-on, getting involved, being a part of the winning culture, versus setting the bar low. When I first had the first meeting with them and I asked what colleges you guys want to go to, they were naming, D2, D3 schools that weren't even football savvy. But I'm looking at these kids. I got kids that are 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". I got one guy 6'5". He's big. Yeah, he's a big guy. I got a couple big guys like that. And I'm just like, you set the bar this low that I want to go to this college, that college. Why don't you set it this high? Because if you set it that high, you're going to play to expectations, and then you're going to start a new tradition of winning, okay? The winning tradition. And it doesn't have to be the scoreboard to winning. It's just winning in life and starting a tradition. I want the tradition to be passed down from the top to the Little League level. I want to start a whole new culture of the whole town, and that we are doing it. Like the first time we ever started practices early, beyond 12 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, parents have vacations already booked back in February and January. They're on vacation right now. So I get – the greatest thing is this. I have kids showing up, 4 days here, 5 days here. They don't show up here. They don't show up. So some of the kids were supposed to be the starters from last year, whatever, which I'm going like a whole new clean slate, seeing who's who. Everybody's going to earn a position, compete every day. Compete every day to earn your spot. Even if you played well on Saturday, you were the guy. If you're not banged up, you're going to compete the week. Because somebody might come out. So what's been happening is we've been finding diamonds in the rough. You're pressing them, and they're coming out shiny, the clarity, they're sharp, and I'm telling you, this town, I've coached for many years. They're no different than those schools that are up Big North. The only difference from them Big North is that we don't have the numbers. Mm-hmm. That they have that attitude, they have that swag, they have the it, and I'm really shocked. I'm really proud, and they also bought in. They're buying into what I'm doing. It's not even I'm selling anything. They're just believing it. How about they believing in what I'm doing? Not buying in. They're believing. They're all in. Parents are all in. I had to be at a parent meeting the other day, and there was 4 kids that weren't even there, but the parents showed up.
Ooh. That's commitment right there.
The parents showed up because the kids couldn't make it because they're on vacations and stuff or doing camps or whatever it may be that were already paid for. But the parents showed up to meet me and said, wow. And for me, the wow doesn't mean nothing until I get the job done.
Yeah.
My job isn't about the championships and winning games. My job is to put them through college, follow them through college, and in 5 years after college, still be part of their lives and keep them around the program. Keep it all in, bring it all in, keep it what it is, and build a whole new culture.
I love it. You said something. I don't mean to cut you off. You said something super important at the beginning of that, and it's I'm gonna pull from Les Brown. I talk a lot about motivational speakers, but Les Brown once said, "Fear is very important, but what fear will do is most people are a fear. It's not just a fear of failure; it's a fear of what if they can't handle it." So you said, what colleges do you want to go to? And they're naming D2, D3. Because sometimes they're afraid that what if I do make it to that D1 and I'm not good enough? Mm-hmm. What if I make it to the NFL and I'm not good enough? But that fear needs to be a driving force. That, isn't it better for you to reach for the stars and fall a little bit short and be proud of what you did?
Right.
Versus never trying ever at all. Just mailing it in.
Yeah,
because if they mail it in, high school's over in 4 years.
You want to know
it's done.
Yeah, your high school years are your best years. You always remember them. You always talk about them. You go to college, you get years, you get some good stories. But your high school years are your years. You make stories. You build something. You do a whole lot of things. It's like this. If you got this gym and you have multiple weights and they go up high, but people just want to be mediocre and just stay at 135 on the bench, do you really need all this?
No.
You need all this equipment.
I could leave 30-pound dumbbells in the whole gym and then it'd be fine.
Exactly. So, but you got people pushing themselves to get bigger, better. And there's somebody in the gym that's looking at somebody else and competing against that person, whether they know it or not. You're competing against somebody every time you're in there.
Don't you love that, too?
I love it.
You look across the gym and you're like,
yeah. You want to have the other day?
I'm going to do 5 more reps than that guy did.
The other day, I was going to do back or shoulders, but somebody was pushing chest and doing a good job. I got motivated off them. I skipped what I was going to do and went and did and was competing.
Started doing chest.
Yeah, I was competing.
I love it.
I was competing, but they didn't even know I was competing. But it was one of my best workouts because I turned on that mode, and that's what I'm trying to bring to these guys, these players. Like, listen, compete against yourself. I can't do it for you, but as far as college, you already got the GPA. That's the best thing. Now,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, now let's just throw it all together and let's go.
So challenges for them, that's the most important thing this season. Challenging them, pushing them further. What do you think is going to happen for you personally, though, like in your family life? Because obviously this is a different change. You're now a full-time realtor, right?
Yes.
What challenges do you think you're going to have in your family life now as, you are essentially a figure, a fixed point for this team and for this community. How do you think that's going to affect you personally?
Well, it goes back to, professional versus personal. So I just put it this way. I'm doing what I love. And football, to me, and family, I love. Real estate, I love. Why? Because I'm interacting with people all the time. My daughter comes with me to football practice quite often. She blows the whistle. She's there with me. She's in the locker room upstairs with me in my coach's room. We go outside. She's there. My kids, my son shows up. He's on the field. He's helping me do things, getting things together. My wife showed up to the big powwow we had. So my in-laws, they're there too as well. So it's really being here at Glen Ridge has been a blessing. I'm happy that I hate to say that I didn't get the Montclair job, but I think everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. If I had the Montclair job, I have no ties to Montclair, but for the fact that I grew up there, I don't have nobody there that's, that would be holding me there. Like right now I have a nephew that's playing Little League football in Glen Ridge. They live in Glen Ridge. He's going to be coming up, so I have something to look forward to with that. And the other thing is I have to keep my job there. I have to make sure I can get there and keep things going. So it's a lot of pressure. It's more pressure on me because I have to as a realtor, you have to make time for that. You got to make time for this. So it's making time, but I make my own schedule now. I punch my own clock. Big. I don't punch a clock no more running for anybody. I don't work for nobody. I work for myself. I adjust my own schedule to do things. But who's it really benefiting? Not me. It's benefiting those that I serve. As a realtor, I have clients. I work for them. These players, they don't even know it. I work for them. The community, I work for them. I represent them. So what I do, what I say, I have to be very careful. And know that I ever did anything bad when I was anywhere in life, I just feel that pressure, but I love it. And then my goal is to succeed in everything I do beyond the imagined and just to build something totally different. Like, I'll say it, because people bring it up, and it's the elephant in the room that wasn't a room, that I'm the first minority head coach, a football coach at Glen Ridge ever.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Goes to show you where we're moving.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where we're moving. You know what? The thing is, like, I never saw color growing up in Montclair, race or anything. I think just being in the area, I never looked at it or anything. But so for me, I see what people are saying, but for me, it's just like, I'm this day. I'm a normal person. I'm bleeding like you. I got, if you need a transfusion, if it's the same type, we could do it. If you
I'm O negative, by the way, so I can give to you.
I am too.
What is happening here, people? You're not messing with me.
I'm serious.
My man. Oh my God.
Serious.
This is like the first person I've met that's O negative, because all the time I go to donate and I'm like, they're like, well, you can give to everybody, but we can only give you O negative. If not, you'll die. And I'm
exactly.
Like,
so I know who to go to.
I know who to This is insane.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yeah,
Great.
but so it's like when I got it, it was just like looking at it. I mean, and I'm not gonna lie to you. The first thing I said to myself when I got the job was like, "How are they gonna look at me?" Mm-hmm. It's in the back of your mind,
of course,
because it's just what it is, But then I said, if I just be me and my family's like, be you, don't do nothing different, and you just doing what you have to do, and you don't care, because I never cared, even being in Bergen County, it was being everywhere, I never cared. So I just said, hey, hell with it.
I mean, that's great. It was all based on your merit, the content of your character.
Yeah.
What you, without the physical appearance, could bring to the table.
Right.
Your experience and all that stuff. And that's how life should be. It's just how hard do you work? Let me see what have you done on a piece of paper that makes you qualified for whatever it may be. And I'm so happy that it worked out for you.
Yeah.
This is like, guys, you don't understand. Manj here, you want him as your head coach. It's I just love to see the passion that you have in your eyes when you're talking about this.
Oh yeah.
It really brings you to a whole nother level, and it's inspiring for me, because you being a family man, that is something I aspire to be. Sorry. I just moved into my first place with my
Yeah,
girlfriend,
you
and
got- great.
hopefully,
Congratulations.
thank you. Hopefully, things are going to go, and the whole shindig, the marriage, the kids, all that stuff. But it's cool to see that, we talked about it before. Everyone says nice guys finish last. You know what it is? It's like I said the last time: be at the right place, right time, and do the right thing. Nice guys might finish last, but when they finish, it's so much sweeter.
Oh my goodness! You know what? I can say no better than that. I mean, that's honestly like how I used to think that, like, oh, I don't get my way, I don't get my why not me? Why you're gonna give your time and place for everything. There's some people that are out there that are probably not happy for me, that where I'm at in life and what I'm doing. That maybe I'm living their life, but you want to know what it was? I took a risk and a leap of faith.
Yeah,
I have everything to lose, and I did it. Versus being content. Okay, I think the worst thing that ever happened to man. Somebody told me, one of my old coworkers told me, the worst thing that happened to man, women, anybody, was the paycheck, because you depend on it. You know it's going to be there, so you're gonna work for that. You're depending on that. It's like a spot in the gym. If you're working out and you're getting a spot, you're depending on that spot. And if you're a coach in Little League, you're behind the player and you're telling him where to go. He's depending on that. No, don't depend on it. Depend on yourself and go get it.
We gotta make people pay. These podcasts are getting too good. We're giving out way too much good stuff here. It's so true. And I want to go back to what you said earlier. What is it like to finally say that you don't work for anybody, you work for yourself? You don't have to clock into work anymore.
It's awesome. Do you know what I did the other day? I walked up to the Weichert office. I live in Bloomfield. Walked to Upper Montclair, walked up there, did what I had to do, put a couple things together, went under contract, walked from there all the way across to Glen Ridge to the field house, went to the field house, did things I had to do, walked all the way home, and then got in my car and then rode to practice. I had equipment I had to bring to the practice field. But just to walk around and just walk without worrying about, look at my clock. I don't look at the clock no more. I don't have a watch on today. I did Fitbit. And I know you want to know, where's the timepiece? I don't look at the time no more because, I know something. I just got to make sure I'm at practice that time. I guess I got to make sure I pick up my daughter on time, things like that. Those things I worry about. But I do not have to worry about being at certain places at certain times because I am my own person. Now, it's no monetary things. No, I'm not getting paid like, hey, you're making
millions of dollars or
right,
whatever.
It's not about that. I'm happy. I walked into an establishment the other day, and the person looked at me and said, I never looked so vibrant and so happy. You're glowing. I said, I'm living my best life right now. I'm not stressed. And I'm doing what I love. Like I said, I love football. I love coaching it. I love being with my family. I can do whatever I want to do, how I want to do it, just my schedule.
I love it. I love it. My mom's got to sell her house. We got to talk.
Oh yeah,
We'll
definitely
make
talk.
it happen.
Listen, I'll make a nice video for it too. How that. I love doing videos and stuff.
Oh my God, I love it. Oh, and don't worry about half of my watches don't even have a battery. It's just for show.
Nah, he got a good timepiece on. You gotta see that thing. Things looks like a WWE title. Looks like,
oh my
It's like
God.
a championship on his wrist.
Manj, I think what we're going to have to do is when this season is coming to an end, we're going to have you come back on and give us a recap because I want to know, and I'm sure the people at home are going to want to know, how it went with implementing all these changes, especially being, as you mentioned, first person of color in Glen Ridge, first person to really be motivating them in this way,
right.
And the first person who I believe, having known you personally, is pushing them in different avenues that have never been pushed before.
I think you know what, and you know me, I'm an open book. I'll be candid with that. I will literally tell you exactly how hard it was, or how easy it was, or every little loop and hole we're going through. Like the one thing, like I said, the adversity we have right now is that we can't practice on our home field because it's grass. We can't rip it up before the season. So now we're practicing in the right field, the outfield. Then we'll be practicing in behind the school, and they put some lines out there, which is the baseball field's uneven. There's rocks. There's grates. It's a school. It's not a full practice field. Then we'll go practice. Sometimes get on turf, and we're lucky to be on turf. Thank goodness, where all the equipment is. So it's like we're lugging equipment around. It's not like your average school has everything right there. We have to travel and go get it. But you want to know something? We're going to earn everything we get. And that's the whole thing. We're earning everything. We're going to earn our first win. That one, which is, by the way, September 2nd, Friday night at Cedar Grove. It's going to be a show.
Ooh.
It's going to be a show.
You got to remind me. I'm going to try to be there.
Oh, you better be there. You could bring this whole podcast thing and everything else.
Do a mobile setup?
Oh, absolutely.
That'll be great.
We'll do it before the game and after.
Oh, my God. I love it. All right, guys, you heard it here. Manj Singh on the SignatureCAST. Earn everything you get. That's a wrap. Thank you so much for coming on today, and we'll see you at the end of the season.
Listen, one thing I got to say about you, always and never change who you are. You're a genuine dude, always have been, and you, like, guys like you make me happy when I come to this gym. The way you accept everybody that comes in here, the way everybody walks in this gym, when you're outside of this gym, the things you do, your arm wrestling, you do everything. You are a stand-up guy, and that's why I'm here for the 4th time, even though 2 got published, but for the 4th time, because I really appreciate you, and I value your time as much as you value mine.
I appreciate it, Manj. Thanks a lot, brother. We'll see you guys later. That was another episode of the SignatureCAST. Have a good one. Peace. Right.